Well, hello there. Greetings and salutations. I hope that you are all fine and dandy after surviving um, a hump day. Happy hump day, everyone. It's Wednesday, and welcome to another Wednesday Night Warlord or whatever. Wednesday Night Whatever. There you go. We haven't decided what we're doing. And Anton, oh my god, that is like the quickest appearance ever. That is impressive. Well done. I salute you. How are you, buddy? You alright? You been up to anything interesting these past few days? Obviously, I wasn't on Saturday. Sorry, I was away. Um, it's one of those things, unfortunately, where you have to go and show your face around certain gaming events. And Alicord, hello to you. My God, you're in here to quick, so fast. I'm impressed. Well done. And how are you? What are you up to? Right, so I'm just doing the usual um, of sharing this sort of stuff out everywhere. Um, so we are continuing with these little dudes. So, and the little heavy sentinels as well. So we've got another two of each to do. I've still got the infantry, which I need to base at some point. And I've also got, because I had to, I really had to, I had to get the Turkey Man from Bad Squiddo. So whenever I go to these events, Annie at Bad Squiddo and my sister Gail are there. So that's the first place I visit at any event. So I go in, I see them, I give them sweets, and just see how they're doing, and the usual. Spend a bit of time there before wandering off, and I will return there several times throughout the day because it's like my base camp. Yeah, we went down there, and Turkey Man has been making waves recently. It has its own Instagram page as well, which is cool. Um, so yeah, and I thought, well, I have to get one. So I am Turkey Man compliant. I have the Turkey Man available. So it depends what mood I'm in. I'm in a silly mood at the moment. I know I don't probably look it, but I feel it because I've had a couple of beers. Hi, Turkey Man. I may have started another army. Oh, really? What army would that be, Anton? And hi, Turkey Man. Turkey Man says hello. He waves his flaccid wings. Well, that's one. One done. Let's do that other one. The big one. Story, punk, 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 paste, done. That's that one done. Oh, it's so hard. Hey, Kenneth is stuck in there as well. It's just a little project. All right, okay. Is it a secret project? It's like, we like to know these sort of things. What's going on? What's happening? Live stream. I will, once I've sorted, I will obviously chat. Bosh, bang. Right, Bosh. Last one. Where are we? Oh, actually, I don't know how. Pew. That's done. Right. Yo, Sip as well. And Plastic Punk, hello everybody. What a lovely, lovely time is in. Like, I've already drunk 2 beers and I've basically just filled out this. So who knows what's going to happen. It's a wild, wacky Wednesday. Third but fourth too. They snuck in there like little ninjas. We all know that's just Pepsi. Well, it's Pepsi Max. It was what was left in the bottom of the bottle, though. So yeah, as I said, it's been a busy week because it was obviously Wednesday last week last day was here. And then obviously there was was I here last Wednesday? I don't know. It's been such a weird week or so, because last week I was half term, so I was looking after the children because their mum went away. So obviously I had to supervise, kind of like a prison warden. So that was from Tuesday to Friday. I know I had one on Monday night I came on, didn't I? Pardon me. But yeah, anyway. So Saturday was, for me, my chance to go up to UK Games Expo and to see what was going on and everything. And basically, whenever I turn up to events such as UK Games Expo or Salute, is primarily just to schmooze, to meet up with like online friends and all that sort of thing, because people come from all over the place to these events. So that was basically the plan of action, and that is what actually happened. I went down there. It was like Christmas morning. I was awake from about 20 to 5. I didn't need to be awake at that time, but I was. I tried getting back to sleep, couldn't quite figure it out. So maybe just laid there for about 20 minutes, half hour. So I thought, sod it, it's the 2.5 hour drive from where I live to where the NEC is in Birmingham, on the outskirts of Birmingham. And I got going because I thought, well, they open at 10. I'll just get there a bit earlier. Just take my time. Stop off at McDonald's, grab myself a sausage and egg McMuffin, or a double sausage and egg McMuffin, because that's what I generally do for most events. Grab one of them. That lasts. Shot on down, and then on the way, I was like, I was in traffic coming off onto one of the roads, and so I quickly saw notifications and I looked at it and I saw people like, what? People are already going there? What? Sort of thing. I was confused, so I quickly Googled opening times, and then found out that UK Games Expo is open from 8 until 6. So I thought, oh, okay, well, that's fine then. So I got there at 9. Went in, and I said, first thing I always do is head towards Bad Squiddo to see Annie, my sister Gail, and Office Painter, who helps out, Katie, who was there as well this year, and hopefully Simon, Gail's wife, because Simon's adorable as well. Husband, sorry, Gail's husband. See, the alcohol's kicking in. So shot down there. I literally bumped into Office Painter because I saw him coming down the corridor, so I just deliberately swerved and shoulder barged him because that's what he deserves. Said hello, he told me he was going to get coffees, and then I went in, saw everyone at the stand, and got the Turkey Man. So I've got that now. That, as I always buy something, at least one thing from Bad Squiddo to do my part. And yeah, it just went on from there. I hit several of my places that I wanted to go to early doors. I got half of them done before about 10. So yeah, it was rabid, and I was just running around, seeing people, and as Sip says, it looked like I done a lot of schmoozing, which I do. So I did all my schmoozing. I saw like a lot of my friends that like online friend groupies, no, not my groupies, but online groups sort of thing, disparate, because I do float around a bit, and that's one of the things with me at events, is that I have a tendency to wander off or get nabbed by people. So I could be with you 1 second, and then next moment I've disappeared because somebody's either caught me, or more commonly, as I'm following some of the people I was hanging with, I looked down at my phone, and about 10 seconds later looked up and could not see them. I don't know where they'd gone, and I was lost. They lost me. So I just went wandering some more, because that's all you can do, because the signal in there was a bit crap, so I couldn't contact people, or they couldn't hear the phones or whatever. So I just wandered, but I met up with Keris Creates, because she'd been down. Her boyfriend was working on a stall, because he's a sort of a writer of games. So he was doing his business, trying to get people to buy his games, and so we met up at the Asmodee stall, because they're the company that are pushing the Gundam Assemble game, which is the new skirmish game, and the collectible card game as well. So you had to make a reservation for the collectible card game. For the Gundam, well, it's not playing the game, it's actually just building models. So you had to queue up for that, and then once the space becomes available, you move in and you build yourself Gundam. So I might as well show you them. I know you've probably seen them already, but so time I got to sit down, space, the first Gundam I was offered, because I was the last one, the 2 other people joined us, so they was giving away 3 different Zaku's. So the first one I got, because the one that I was left with as my choice, was Bazooka Gundam. Come on, you just done it, just then. Oh, you little shit. God damn you. Right. back into the settings. Ba, 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 ba. Right. We have to do this every week. Every week. Right. Camera control. Right. Apply. Okay. Right. For some reason it's not shutting down. No, there it is. So yeah, so this is Bazooka Gundam, or Zaku. I attempted freehand on the shield there because you kind of have to. You can't just not have anything like that. My friend Matt, who also got a couple of these, has also done like little lines here and there that you see like of other sort of like warning things. So that's something I might actually do at some point. But it's really nicely detailed. It's push fet. There's no glue involved. It went together in a matter of moments. I cleaned it up. They had files available and sort of thing, and I used the back of the clippers, which helped as well. So, but it went together really well. And when I got home, I painted that on Monday. The other one, which is this one, is the Char Aznable Red's Comet. So I emulated as best I could. I actually had to mix up that pink because it's not a pink, it's a salmon pink. So I mixed it up using Cadian Flesh Shade and Emperor's Children, because Emperor's Children is the only pink I have. But that is an actual decal or sticker from the Master, the MG Red Comet that I have. So I'll whack that on there because that is his like personal Xeon thing. But yeah, they are, I say, really good little models. Detailed, and as I said, they go together really well. Obviously, there's not a lot of customization you can do with them. I suppose you could do extra bits, but it would be a lot of faff. And I'm not about faff. But they're standard sort of loadouts anyway, because like the Zakus do have the little bazooka things, or the axes. The other one is an axe wielding Zaku, but they are really, really cool little models. So definitely looking forward to their release. I will do a proper base for them, but that's, you know, their standard bases that they come with. But I'll do some texture on there at some point. I can just sit with a Turkey Man for a bit. Let's catch up with what you've been talking about. May have been Monday then. Yeah. Did he have a kissing booth again? No, Office didn't have a kissing booth. Thank God. That's the last thing you want from him. Oh, God, you don't know where he's been. It has spiraled out a bit out of control, indeed. Picturing friends needing one of those kid leashes to keep track of you. it won't work. It won't work. I'll get away. I'll get away. But yeah, so meeting up with Trident Future Works. I went there, saw the guys there because obviously they brought down their 3D printed Imperator Titan. So obviously I had to go and see it. Would have been rude not to. I missed it at Salute. I couldn't find them when I was walking around. And plus I only had limited time for lunch, so I wouldn't have had a chance anyway because I was meeting up with Crystal McDowell, and Rob and a few others. Toby was there as well. So I didn't have a chance to see a lot of stuff at Salute because I was working, because I was doing the Titan Walk. But yeah, so we did that. Saw Trident, saw Red Mug minis, because someone I know is basically a friend of a friend, but I've sort of friends as well. Paul Williams, who's like the best friend of my close amigo Scott Charnick, and they host a podcast called It's a Chat. Been going for a few years now. It started off in COVID, as a lot of things did, and they started off. It's a chat. I was like, it's a chat. It's a trap. It's all based on Star Wars initially, so they basically just like relived, older generation talking about Star Wars, watching them through, and having those like little chats that you do when you watch like a movie and all that sort of stuff. So definitely check them out. They are quite a good little podcast. They've now obviously gone on to other sort of films and stuff like Ghostbusters, Star Trek. They've gone through most of the Star Trek movies. They haven't done a new top Star Trek though. TV series, other bits and pieces. I even done one podcast with them when they asked me to come in to talk about Starship Troopers, because I kind of like Starship Troopers because the movie was brilliant. I love that shit. Nice like pose on that. Yeah, the poses are pretty cool. Obviously you can't do much with them, but still, it's all part of the game. I've gotten a Horus or two. Oh, nice. And hello, Engine Film. Welcome. You did threaten you to come in. And I just noticed Gratak has just turned up as well. Hello. But yeah, welcome one and all. I am painting. I am also going through the shit that I got involved with at UK Games Expo. So yeah, so after Trident Future Works, Red Mug Minis, Game Therapy as well. That was with Mira Magna, who does she does YouTube book reviews of the Horus Heresy series with Arbiter Ian, or Arbitorian, what do you want to call it? So I had a chat with her, and then I was wandering around and I found my friend Jade Lytton, who I have shared her work last week on my posts. She done the really groovy like forest base with a Zaku like crashed out in the foliage against a building sort of thing. She loves doing all that stuff, and she was saying that like she's basically she paints models to make the bases sort of thing, and she does epic, awesome looking bases. So yeah, definitely check her out, because her work is top notch. If you like bases, definitely. See what I'll do. I will, because I don't know why I haven't done this before. Really, I should have done this before, but I haven't. Honk. No. There you go. I'll put her Instagram into the chat, so if you want to check out and follow, you're not going to be disappointed really, because she does some really great work. Dunk and bonk. There you go. And bosh. There you go. Done. Starship Troopers is awesome. Absolutely love that. And we're in the pod. I actually talk about when we first went to see it, with it was like one of the only times I've gone with a group of friends, like a big group of friends, to see a movie, because when we saw the trailer for it, um, we was all around my flat role playing Aliens. I've been doing a long running Aliens campaign, and in there, like some downtime, was what had the TV on, and this space battle was kicking off on the screen. Suddenly, Blur was playing song two, and it was like, hold on a second, and then it kicks in with a whoa, and yeah, we were just like, we were sold. Had no idea what was going on. We were sold because it was like dudes running around shooting the shit out of stuff, big explosions. What's not to love? So we all, I think it was about 3 cars worth of us, all headed down to Lakeside to one of the cinemas there, and we got busy watching, and afterwards coming out hyped up to the eyeballs, believing that we were Federation Mobile Infantry and running around and making complete fools of ourselves as we headed to the McDonald's to get a late night snack. Uh, but Starship Troopers is just one of those movies you can watch, and it doesn't matter. You can just watch it. There's nothing. You don't have to, buy into the underlying meaning or anything like that. It's brain dead TV. You can just sit there, watch it, and have a good time. And that's what you really want at the end of the day. You want to have a good time watching a movie with lots of explosions and stuff. So yeah, what's like you newcomers? What are you up to? We know that Anton was got a secret project that's going on. Alucard he never lets us know what he's up to. He's on mystery missions, that boy. Plastic Painter, what are you up to? Are you doing tonight? That's what I did last time. Make it easy for yourself, Lee. And Philbert, what are you up to? I'm not wearing the sex goals at the moment. Painting nids for Little Big Sips, 40k army. Fair. I hope he's going to start paying you for that soon, mate. That's commission work. That is commission work. Because at some stage he's going to go, "Oh, I'll just get the old man to do it." No. You've got to, get your value, paid for. A talented painter. Was you going to Crystal's birthday thing, Sip? I'm building my Zamiak I got for my Commonwealth at UK Games. Ah, nice. It's a glorious, glorious ship, indeed. I saw Warhammer and Mini Wargaming Dave was down at Wayland the new Wayland facility down near Brentwood. Because it's not quite Brentwood, but it's near Brentwood. So he got the little tour down there. Yeah, we'll both be there. Ah, cool, cool. Are you kill teaming, or you blood bowling, or you got other plans? So yeah, so what else did I do? Done the Gundam. That literally all I bought model wise was Turkey Man. I didn't buy anything else. I did ponder getting myself some artwork for when I went to the Trench Crusade stand. Because there's some nice pieces there. I did look at a t-shirt as well, but I didn't have any double XL because I like mine baggy. Didn't have anything in my size, and where I did see a sign saying double XL, I looked and everything in there was medium. So right, okay. Obviously they must have sold out. So I weren't going to start tearing apart stuff. So it was only like a whim thing anyway for the t-shirt. But I did have some nice little prints of the artwork that they've already done, and I was contemplating getting the Britannia, the Fortress Britannia, which is the large behemoth battleship monster thingy that England have as part of their sort of background. So, but I thought, well, I'm not going to carry it around with me because it's a bit chunky, and I'm not going to walk back to the car just to put that in there. So I thought I'd go back, but unfortunately, events overran and circumstances changed, and because I met up with my friends, well, certain groups of friends, and kept on losing them, kept on finding other ones. So eventually I was with Millie Paints and Sabrina, who's Me Paints Minis. Tesseract was down there. War Hipster was with us. Mark, I can't remember the rest of it. I said Jade turned up with Phil Nunn, who is her husband or partner, I'm not sure, but they're together. They turned up. Lady Kane was there. M from Sisters of Eldar, she was along there as well. There was a whole load of people just like coming in and out of the courtyard area where we was, and I just basically thought, well, I've lost everyone so many times, and they said, oh, do you want to come for dinner afterwards? So I thought, yeah, fuck it. Last year I didn't, and I regretted it. So we ended up going to find somewhere to eat, which was fun because we went to the local establishments and they were all ram-packed, obviously ram-packed. So I ended up driving me, Mark, Millie and Sabrina to a local eatery where we were joined with Emma, Alex, who is AJM Nerdcore, Gav, Dante Paints was with us as well, and we just had a nice foodie experience in this nice little local pub. So that was pretty cool. Trying to think of anyone else I saw. So I posted up most of the pictures on the thing. Like my CPC crowd was representing. There were several notable members who were missing and were missed. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. But they had other plans. But all in all, it was a lovely afternoon. I'm still recovering at the amount of walking I did. So there was a lot of walking. Got a 40k table for the Friday, then kill team on a Saturday. Nice. I was trying to get hold of a table full stop. I saw Mike had posted that he'd got hold of some more tables, because when I applied initially, they said, "Oh, we've got no tables." I said, "Well, could you notify me if there's any cancellations, please?" Sort of thing. And then when Mike was putting in the chat that, "Oh, I've got a couple more tables," I was like, "Oh, okay." So I emailed him again. "Oh no, nobody's cancelled." "Oh really? All right, fine, thank you." You know, it's like, don't you know who I am? But yeah, I might. Well, I don't think it would help, because they would just send me to try them anyway. Because a simple fact was, I was going to go down, because a couple of people was interested in trying out Devil's Titanicus. So if I can get a table, woohoo! I'll take my stuff with me, but I'll also bring some other bits as well, on the off chance. But we will see. I was trading some of my Death Guard for some Forge World Knights. Yeah, because there was like a bring and buy thing, wasn't there? A trading, like, was it Troll Trader? Had something set up where you could bring stuff down and they'll sell it and what have you. I remember seeing some of that. Like, that was like last minute I saw that, so I didn't participate in that side of things. But that's quite a nice little thing, because I say sometimes, like, you know, I'd rather do something like that than try selling it online, because you never know who might come along and rip you off. You know, so, "Oh, I haven't received it," and then you've got to try and claim back like compensation if you've taken out the appropriate stuff on the delivery stuff. Then he came out with both of the Horus models, and I could not just say no. According to my fitness tracker, I did 27,000 steps on Saturday. Wow. You forgot that, don't you know who I am? Yeah, no, exactly. So yes, there was a lot of walking. There was lots of meeting and greeting. I got nabbed by again, somebody who used to come onto the stream here. I don't know what his tag is here, but yeah, so he was in Millie's stream yesterday, and was mentioning that he nabbed me. But yeah, it was lovely, nice. It's always good to sort of go to these things just to see what's about. I did play a demo of Trench Crusade, and I played that against High Fleet Horror, who is on Instagram under that same tag. We had a game of that. Initiative dice were to be rolled. I rolled 2 6s. And I said to him there, I said, I will give you the opportunity to surrender now if you wish, and you can walk away with your head held high. And he went, no. And we played, and I ended up, I was playing Antioch. So if you remember the Trench Crusade models I painted, I had two of the heavy mechanized armors. The one with the rotary cannon and one with the axe. I had a lieutenant and I had two normal soldiers, and we was up against the Sultanate. So they had a brazen bull. They had the Jezreel dudes, and they had like their sort of like lieutenant chap and a couple of normal troops. And I, in the first turn, had immobilized his brazen bull, which was a big, massive, sort of genetically enhanced monster. So I basically knocked that down. And the thing is, when you're doing attacks, so you obviously you get like your little savey sort of bits. You have to make your dice rolls and stuff, but you get blood tokens. So when you attack again, you can add the blood token into it, so it gives you extra dice. And then, like, you know, if it's a really difficult thing, you roll your dice, but you might have to, if it's really difficult, you might have to take the two lowest dice, sort of thing. Whereas normally you would take the two highest dice. So obviously, when you've got like range modifiers and all that to take on and, you know, cover, it does stack up or detract. But yeah, so I managed to incapacitate his brazen bull in the first round with my machine gunner, and then I was trying to, you know, taking pot shots at it, trying to kill it, but it just wouldn't initially die. But it did stack up with the blood token, so next attack added them to. So eventually, I did kill it in the second turn, and I also took out the two normal infantry guys. So all he had was the Jezreel and his lieutenant for no loss. I did have one of my mechanized units did take several points of damage, but those mechanized suits are actually quite tidy. So they took a lot of damage, but they survived. And then obviously, because you only got to play 20-minute game, so it came up to the end, and it's basically like you know, yeah, you're not in a very good position there. So he withdrew. But yeah, it's quite once you sort of like get going. I'd say like once you learn the rules as well, that would be helpful. But it is fairly easy to get a hang of, really. So yeah, enjoyable, and of course the model ranges are really cool. Although you can, because even the guy doing the demo said like you can, you know, field your own models. You don't have to have like the official models. You can just play the rules with whatever models you want, sort of thing. So you could theoretically, you know, deploy some Krieg or something like that as your stormtroopers or your infantry type things. But yeah, it's definitely a fun game, but the models in it are just glorious. You know, all those different factions they've got out already, more to come as well. So definitely worth having a go at. And obviously, if you have a 3D printer, then definitely worth printing yourself some models off. Obviously, or you can order them from like We Print Minis, I think it's called. But you can find them out from other places, and you've got other 3D print studios that are doing um, other sort of factions, so they they get like sort of like a patent really. So they've got the ability to print off um, like the Red Brigade, which is a new Antioch sub faction. So they've got their own models. That was Westphalia are doing them, so you can buy them direct from Westphalia if you so wished. But yes. There's Hellstorm Mikey. I saw him, but I don't really know him. I don't think I even follow him. But I know obviously he's quite a big cheese in the hobby community. Didn't see Mini Wargaming Mike. I did see James Hewitt though. Salute, not Salute. Sorry, the Wayland Games had a nice chat with him. I saw who else did I see? Velvet Plum Space Marine. She was about. She was on the way through actually. I caught her briefly as she was with her son, going from Yu-Gi-Oh to somewhere else. But no, it was a nice day out. The facilities are same as last year, so I think nothing too bad. But they were spread out more, so there was more space. So like what's been happening with Salute, where you do get a lot more room to manoeuvre now because they get the bigger units, and things are spread out better. The same can be said with UK Games Expo, because there was definitely felt a bit more open. There was obviously a few, like the more popular places were, those avenues were a little bit more heavy traffic like, but apart from that, it was fairly good. So I saw Moggy and Craig Pickup, who are always entering in painting competitions and all that. They're really good. Saw Tommy Sui as well. He was on the Element Games paint tables. Leafy Decay, she was down there as well. So I had spoken to her beforehand and said like, "Oh, you're right, you're working for Thingy. I'll just wave at you then, because I know what it's like to work at events and people always coming up to you and asking questions." And you thought, well, you can't really have a proper chat or anything. So I thought, you're working. I don't want to take up like other hobbyists' time. So I just said, oh yeah, I'll probably just end up waving at you. And it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, because that's all I did. Just waved at her. She saw us and but that was it. But yeah, that was my Saturday at UK Games Expo. No purchases. Well, one purchase, which was a Turkey Man. The 2 Gundam that I acquired through queuing. I love them so much. And that was it, really. It looks a lot of fun. I've really liked the lore they've released so far. Yeah, the Trench Crusade stuff is really, really cool. They've got so many of the old guard from Games Workshop. So like Jervis Johnson is part of Trench Crusade now. E. Brown as well. He's there. I'm trying to think who else is there. I'm sure there's someone else. But yeah, they are basically somebody. I was talking to somebody in the Mini Paints chat yesterday, and they were. Oh no, it was actually right. I was watching Gondas on his Twitch stream last night, and he was saying that with Trench Crusade, it's like Grimdark of 40k, but without the satire. and I sort of said, I can understand where you're coming from, but to be fair, like modern 40k doesn't seem to have satire attached. Like back sort of like Rogue Trader and like first, second eds, yeah, there was definitely a lot more satire interwoven with the lore and stuff, but the modern stuff, not so much. It was, it's a shame, really. I said, like, I have been sort of edging away from um, 40k. Like, the only, well, technically, I could field some 40k stuff because I've got my Emperor Spears and Black Templars, so I can put them together and make a small force. It might not be super gamey or anything like that. Obviously, I can throw in Imperial Knights and Titans if need be, but I don't have, like I normally would do. I would have lots of various units to be able to go in and blow shit up and all that sort of stuff. So, um, yeah, I sort of not really. I suppose I've got Mechanicus because I have got Mechanicus like Skitarii and some units for that. Um, if they allowed to use Mechanicum units, then I have even greater force of cybernetical monstrosities. Um, but yeah, I don't really have like a honest to god um, built army for 40k anymore. I sold them a couple of years ago to mine and Phil's friend Paul because he wanted some really painted armies. So, and he bought a couple of my armies, my main armies, my Tau and my Raptors. Because to be fair, I wasn't playing with them. If a day came up for playing games, I would choose Adeptus Titanicus and Horus Heresy before playing 40k. 8th edition was interesting. I kind of liked it for the simplicity, like using power levels, but the rules, like me and Phil were playing like the release day 8th edition at the Games Workshop in Southend, and I had a Tau force for it, and I was like really loving the idea that wait a sec, this has a keyword at flyer, so that allows my mobile suits to engage with aircraft in close combat. I thought this sounds awesome, but I was playing it like 7th ed, so I attacked an Orc burner bomber from behind, thinking it can't hurt me, ha 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 ha, and then found out that they don't have arcs anymore, so they can shoot me with everything. Like I know it's like you know quick shot or whatever, snapshot sort of thing, but when they've got like flamethrowers and stuff, doesn't matter. It's auto hitting. And my crisis commander that I thought I'm going to give this a go with my crisis commander because I just thought it'd be awesome that you have like cinematically this Tau battle suit has just launched itself from this building, grabs the end of the aircraft as it whizzes past and just like rips it a new one. That didn't happen. It reduced me from snap fire, from reaction fire, down to 2 hit points before I actually attacked it. So it fired all its weapons. It got several hits, sort of thing, like the flamethrower things alone. But I'm like, but I'm behind it. Its weapons are front facing. Doesn't matter. Has no arcs. Fuck. And that sort of annoyed me. Yeah, so I played several games of 8th edition, and then 9th came. I played one game of 9th, and I thought, no, thank you, that's enough, because I really didn't enjoy 9th edition. So yeah, one game and that was it. And then, as I said, I just slowly got rid of my main armies that I had been collecting for donkey's years. Got a Titan out of it, so I can't complain. So yeah, it was one of those things. But obviously, we've now got the new edition of Horus Heresy. They've been leaking. There was something earlier on today, wasn't there? Like with the reactions, and you know, oh, you can, this can happen and that can happen. I've played more Horus Heresy 2.0 than I played Warhammer 8th and 9th in the past couple of years. So same, though I fell out of 40k with the release of Heresy, kind of got fixated on 30k. Still enjoy some of the lore I see, but lost interest in playing 40k. Yeah, I think that probably did have an effect, but the way I saw it at the time, and I said this to some of the guys at like Specialist Games and all that sort of stuff, is that Horus Heresy Gaming, which before they brought out these dudes, like Legion Imperialis, it was basically 40k epic because it's massive armies, and I said to them, it's like it's more akin to historical war gaming, because you're normally going to have a mature, older hobbyist playing it because of monetary reasons mostly, because we can buy the bigger armies and stuff. I've always called it future historical. Sounds good. And Horus Heresy is just so much better. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, Alan Bly with all the stuff that he'd done and the rules. You know, he always said that 7th edition, which was, you know, yeah, 7th edition might have had its drawbacks and all that, but obviously they sorted it out with 7.5 and all that. But that was the whole basis. Was 7th edition was what he considered to be the epitome, and unfortunately, obviously, he had that very short battle with cancer. But I don't think, especially with like the lore side of things, I don't think Forge World really recovered after he went, because it had, and you can look, it had a really drastic effect on their productivity on the books in particular, and because I think the person who would have succeeded him was Andy Hoare, and because Andy Hoare was his basically subordinate. If the writing, he'd come back from First Flight games where they were doing like the role play books and stuff, and he was working with Alan on all the lore and stuff for that. And then Specialist Games were being created, and Specialist Games is Andy's bread and butter. He absolutely loves all that sort of stuff. So he just got made the head of Specialist Games, and so like obviously he'd brought Blood Bowl, Titanicus, Necromunda, and all that sort of stuff back. And you know, I think if you're a fan of any one of them, you enjoy it, you love it, sort of thing. It is your bread and butter. But that was his dream job, and you can't expect somebody to sort of, you know, turn away from his dream job. And I think him and his team at Specialist Games have done awesomely with those game systems, you know, that they've brought out. You know, Blood Bowl, there's so much love for Blood Bowl and Necromunda is unreal. Doing the same for my 40k. As soon as the games room is finished, I will be building a 2k army for each of my 40k armies and 3k for each of my fantasy. Everything else is getting flogged. There you go. I don't need an entire Deathwing or first and second ed termies. Well, I don't know, Phil. It's steady on there. That's a rather awesome collection to have. Oh, I love Necromunda. Still actually play it though. Still to actually play it. Yep, no, that's fair. It's like with these guys. I build up my armies and then I go to war. So I haven't actually played a proper game of this yet. But as I said, these are, you know, additions to my either my Mechanicum or one of my Marine loyalists or traders. So I can go with either way with these. So that's what I'm looking at. Is I always like to have that flexibility, so I can, you know, do a army and have options. I love having the ability to do that sort of thing. I don't sort of power game as such. I like a thematic build. Because I like that cinematic feel that you get when you're playing games. You know, because it's all fun. That's what you want it to be at the end of the day, is fun. No. What else is there? Pew. Right, sorry, I'm just distracted by several things going off at once. Oh, get out of the way. I don't want to import my phone. I've got a couple of gangs, but what was it? But I keep buying hangers on. That's fine. Don't need 20k of big hat chaos dwarves. Yeah, but those were great, the big hat chaos dwarves. Yeah, so you know, we do acquire massive like armies over time, and like I am terrible for that. So like as we know, my Titan collection is a little bit large, but like my Emperor's Children for Heresy is well in first edition Heresy it was about 14,500 points. So there's no way I was going to fill that entire army, but in smaller games it gives me a lot of options, so I can field lots of little bits and pieces and just go out there and twat things. I haven't even like Mechanicum. I think Mechanicum without knights was about 8,000 points. So yeah, without Knights and Titans, and if you add Knights and Titans, then that's nearer 15,000, I think, maybe more. Points have changed a lot over the course of the years, as such. Alpha Legion I've got is it's weird because I've got Raven Guard, although I did snag some of the models out of that for other armies. So that was quite a sizable infantry based unit. A lot of their tanks I did migrate into Emperor's Children because they're the same colour. Just have to remove all the Raven Guard markings. What should we call them? Yeah, Thousand Sons. I've got I had a full company strength of Thousand Sons, Heresy Thousand Sons. So it was built up more in the traditional sort of 60 tactical, and then you've got your heavy weapons and all that stuff. A couple of dreadnoughts, a couple of leviathans, no vehicles for it whatsoever, and loads of special characters. So like Ahriman and I had Contemptor Talon of Thousand Sons with an Osiren, which is the psychic Contemptor Dreadnought. So there was definitely a lot there, and again, I didn't even add up points. And that company strength was in addition to the 1,000 points that I'd already done myself, because I'd basically done it was a bit of a swapsy. I swapped several 1,000 points of Iron Warriors for a company strength of 1,000 Sons. So, as you do. Get back in there. Right, skin. Damn it. No, that's not skin. My brother Alex has gotten his 154 Tartarus Terminators painted up. Nice. That was what I was doing with my Iron Warriors, mostly doing Cataphracti. So Cataphracti loaded into Spartans and Land Raiders. So I thought that's my like Land Raiders will provide me with my heavy artillery kind of thing. Um, I did have um, oh the ones with the quad laser thingy um, on a Rhino frame. Those things. I had a squadron of them, um, as well as the Land Raiders and Spartans. So literally, you just get cataphracti Terminators just driven in and dumped on people's doorsteps. Vindicators, that's it. Yeah, the laser Vindicator dudes. Um, so they were actually quite well. The combination was good. I remember I said to my friend, he was doing he wanted to do he was doing a World Eaters army, and he was always like, oh, what do I should I get this, should I get that? I said, dude, look, just basically go with your things and just get Land Raiders, so they cover your anti-tank and anti whatever, um, and they're your transports as well. And so he built an army of World Eaters, close assault sort of stuff and all that, and had 4 Land Raiders. And at it was the Horus Heresy weekend 2019, and he played a game against a friend of ours, and it worked really well. He weren't, he's not a power gamer or anything like that, but he just worked. And the guy he was playing against was like, oh no, got really like bitter about it. And it's just like, but dude, it's like he has not even gone for like gamey meta formations. He's just literally just gone with 4 Land Raiders and a load of troops. So it just worked. Was it like Pride of the Legion? I think it was or something. You could actually take Land Raiders as transports or something like that. So that's literally what he did. But it's even like my Alpha Legion. Like I went in with rhinos for it, but each of my rhinos, I would buy a pintle mounted multi-melter, because I love the sound of saying pintle mounted multi-melter. But it was the whole thing is that once you've transported your precious cargo into the battleground, and they've jumped out or whatever, you've then got a fast moving light tank, because it's got a really not pintle mounted multi-melter is it's a nasty weapon, and you can nip around. It's self-repairing as well, isn't it? The Rhino, it's got that rule. Sorry, what pintle was it? It was a pintle mounted multi-melter. Pintle mounted multi-melter, pintle mounted multi-melter, pintle mounted multi-melter. Here on a house shell, multi-melter, multi-melter. Get on now. So yeah, so once you're going around, you've got instead of being like 35 points, it's like 65 points, but you've got a nippy little tank that you can actually take out heavier units with, because you've got that half range as well. You're up close and personal, firing a multi-melter, and it's because you get what is it, the twin linked, didn't you? So, or you did in 2nd edition H. So it's quite a nasty little thing, just for the extra points, because like so many people go for, I want to get maximal amount of units on there, but just doing something like that gives you extra dimension to your war gaming. because you've got a light tank running around causing chaos, which is all about. Ross. Right. Let's do some bases. Booba shaker. I was a pleasant surprise earlier on Blue Sky, where Annie from Bad Squiddo announced that myself and find him. Yeah, so Bad Squiddo put a post out on Blue Sky 8 hours ago. Over the weekend, we decided that the Forge of Mars and Drakawi come from the same pod of lovely men that will be given high-ranking positions, brackets for blokes anyway, in the Femopocalypse. So that was that wasn't on my bingo card for today. So thank you very much. It's nice to know that if a Femopocalypse comes along, that I've got friends in high places, and I will have a position. I love social media. It's bonkers at times. Phil, when we saw you yesterday and went back with Thomas, and we utilised your suggestion, and it sort of helped out on some of the work that he was doing with his IT stuff. Apparently today, because he was a little bit annoyed because he had planned to go on a bus ride today, but because he hasn't done the work, the college people said, look, we'll set aside a few extra hours. So he had extra college today, kind of, but his mum said that he basically got through a third of what was outstanding, so in like 3 hours. So it's pretty good going, because he had fuck all, because as I was saying to you, like, because of his autistic nature, if you tell him, explain how to do stuff, he knows, he gets it, sort of thing. It's not stupid. He can get on with things, and this is the first time in like 2 years he's been at this college where, because he's doing this T-level thing, that he's ever had any problems with anything work related. So but yeah, once they sort of like explained what's what and this, that and the other, and they said, like, even with like what you were suggesting, I threw that under, because he was a little bit reluctant to go with the suggestion. I said, look, let's just try it out. And we tried it out, and I said, look, does that look all right? Does that sound like what you are sort of meant to be doing? Because he kind of knows, but because he hasn't been explained in a very straightforward and direct sort of thing, he gets himself in a tangle sort of thing. So, but he had a look at that and he said, yeah, that's fine. And then we done another sort of question thing, and yeah, those two bits were done. He read through it and checked what he thinks should, if there was any sort of like, you know, edits to be made. And yeah, so he's done that. So Nick also said, like, you know, because when she phoned up and I said I was meeting up with you anyway, and I said to her later on, like, oh yeah, because like Phil works in IT, so it's kind of best person to sort of like to sort of chat about these sort of things while we're having breakfast. So yeah, she was actually, you know, which is quite, you know, for an ex-wife, she's quite, she's all about the kids at the end of the day. So she was quite happy that I knew somebody who knows what they're talking about. So yeah, cheers for that, dude. It settled him down a little bit. So, but as I said, like when he's confused and unsure, he doesn't have the ability to actually ask people, you know, and it's kind of like it's a bit frustrating because it gets like a guessing game, and when you have no fucking idea what the fuck he's learned, it's a bit hard because I have no, like, you know, I don't know what he's fucking doing. He doesn't even talk to me about his fucking work. You know, every time I pick him up, I go, "How was college?" and all that sort of thing. What did you learn today? Stuff. You know, he does not engage, sort of thing. So, right, okay. I try. He doesn't tell me anything. So I go, all right. If you don't want to tell me, you don't want to tell me. Obviously, as long as you're not murdering people, I don't care. It means you escaped being on Painting Turkey Man production line. Currently painting A6M20 for Blood Red Skies. That was mentioned the other day. Somebody was talking about Blood Red Skies at UK Games Expo. So, yes, very popular game. Well, in future, if there's out he's not sure on, just asking forward to me. Yeah, no worries. I will help where I can. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I say it's unusual because I say like he just gets on with stuff most of the time. So yeah, it was just, you know, when he'd had Monday off, but I was told, like, because I normally with him Monday anyway. So normally on a Tuesday, after I've dropped them to colleges and stuff like that, I generally come home, sort of thing, because it's a pain in the ass. Because obviously Maddie's up in Southend and Thomas is down in Basildon. So normally, which I don't like doing, like Maddie's actually gotten better where she can walk home, sort of thing. So at least I'm not going from up to Southend, dropping her further into Southend, then to Basildon, and then going back up to Southend to pick her up when she finishes, and then back down and back in Basildon. So I basically drop him off, come home for a couple of hours, because I've got stuff to do myself, you know. So, and then pick him up, then go pick her up. Like, she might have to wait like 20 minutes longer, but at least that way she's picked up, and then we can go get something to eat, and then pick up her mum from work, and then take them all back to theirs. dad cabs. Yeah. But the thing is, like, I was working it out, like, because on my days off, I drive as much mileage wise as I do going to work, and you know where I work, where I live, so that's a lot of miles because you're going back and forth, and so it's like I'm not getting a real day off as such, um, because you got a lot of driving to do. What are you gonna do? We're just dry brushing the tyrant skull onto the base, which has been painted with standard Mechanicus grey. I'm back again. The kid didn't want to go to sleep without some cuddles from the pug. Yeah, that's fair enough. We all need cuddles from pugs from now and then, so it's a legitimate thing. We all deserve some pug cuddles. But I did. What else has happened? This morning, I did have a message from Artist Empire, friend of the show, amigo, compadre, talented overpainter, legendary person from White Wolf 465, and other ones since then. Um, so he messaged me this morning saying about, dude, we have to get our little paint over show back again. So I just went, yeah, whatever, whenever you want, we'll get your people to speak to my people. So basically, if you've never seen the old, because we haven't done it for like 2 years now, he's moved countries, so he actually lives out in East Europe now, Latvia or something like that. He basically had a girlfriend he's made, and he lives over in Latvia now, from Chicago, where he used to live. So his hours are nearer to ours, but he's older, so he gets tired quick. So, but yeah, so we had a little chat about doing our paint over thing again. So where he used to, on like Twitter mostly, put out, show us your take some pictures, send them in, and he'll choose a couple from the selection, and you get a free paint over basically. So like what you've seen of my Titans, stuff that you've seen in White Dwarf. He does like box art stuff for like Mantic. He even had some of his work shown at Adepticon. So as you went into Adepticon, they had this huge LED screen above the main door as you walk in, and it's got a rotation with his artwork on it of different like Knights and Titans. Unfortunately, mine didn't appear because apparently they didn't translate down to the spec for the thing. So I went, okay. I was hoping that that would have been so fucking cool to see one of my Titans on the door to Adepticon. You know, I've had my Titans in White Dwarf. I want to see him on Adepticon. I don't want much. Right. Let's keep them on there. I don't know why I keep on taking them off. He did a paint over my Orc Shock Jump Dragster. Awesome work. The boy definitely has some skills, and you cannot deny that. As I said, like, he's done such amazing stuff with so many sort of painters' work and stuff. A friend, Chrissy or Curacy, her marshal on horseback. I think was it a like a Krieg marshal, I think it was, or something like that, on horseback. That was fantastic. You know, that gets them showing up at places as well. But there's a whole host of people's work that he's given the breath of life to, and you see it and you go, wow, this is fucking awesome. You know, I know, like, I do my occasional little painty mock-up thingy, and it's not on the same sort of level and scope of what he does, but those sort of things really do sort of like spark the imagination, really sort of like opens up your eyes to the realms of possibilities, of, you know, everything really. But seeing your model, you know, that you've spent hours upon hours painting, painstakingly creating a piece of awesomeness for your army and collection, and then he comes along and breathes life into it on a level that you just did not think possible. That is, you know, something that you, and to say it's free as well if you get chosen. Obviously, you can obviously pay for and commission him, but you know, you might get lucky. And if you do commission, I'm sure it would be a lot more in depth and, you know, bigger and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's quite awesome. Like a friend of mine and Phil's, Rob, he's had a couple of his Titans done, and he's also commissioned him to do other Titans as well. Well, Philbert, make sure that you subscribe, or when we start doing it, get some night, because you can take photographs. So you get some good photos of your things and then enter, because he loves, what he's after is something that's not just a straight on photograph. He wants to see it from angles where you'd look at it and go, this thing tells a story, because that's what he's looking for. He wants to be inspired. So, you know, you can't say like, oh, it has to be a certain model. It doesn't. It can be any model, as long as you look at it and you can go, this is actually really cool. You know, I like the pose, the angle, that, you know, and it sort of, you can almost tell a story from the photograph. That's what he's after. He's looking for inspiration, so he's inspired to create something for you. So I'm sure that you'd be able to take some nice pictures of some of your like Titans or whatever, and then pop them in. If I had any sway over his choosing, yeah, I'm all for being biased and nepotism, but I don't get to choose. I'm just there to talk. You don't take crappy photos. Shut up. You take really good photographs. So you take your pictures, you get a nice bit of background. Well, white background's better, or black, you know, but white is preferred. He prefers white. But as I say, just don't do it face on. Do it at an angle, sort of thing. So you know, if it's one of your Titans, you do it at a certain angle, so it looks like it's striding towards something, and then you post it up. It's whatever inspires him. So I can only give you advice like that. That's all I can do. You know, I've made suggestions in the past, and you know, if he's not inspired, then he's not going to do it. Ras. Excellent. Let's get the hairdryer out. Sod it. It's time to get tough with these things. As soon as they're dried, we'll start off with them. So what I need now is to find some white shell. Oh. There. Not what I'm after. Not after that. No. Where's my correct weight? Where are you? Oh, there's some correct weight. A booba shaker. So all this effort. Let's not try and fuck this up, shall we? Try not to screw things up. Do it nice. Do it nice. Surprisingly, because last time I did these, I was wearing the sex goggles, so I can actually see it. But I think the alcohol has enhanced my ability to see. Which is not something that normally happens when drinking alcohol. Surprising, I know. But it's all fun, it's all work and experience. And with these small, tiny little models, don't really, well, I say don't really matter, it doesn't, you don't really see it. You do and you don't. But that's good, that is good. So I think I used Screaming Skull on here, whereas that one I used Wraithbone, because I just realised I saw Wraithbone there, gone, ah, bollocks. So I might just have to do a little dry brush of greyness. I might have gone a little bit too much on the what do you call it? Aggregates. What's that? Just wanted to grey that down a little bit. Nice. I'm off to take the dog for a walk, and nice to share a bit of hobby time tonight. Catch you later. Thank you for coming out and playing tonight, Sip. Always a pleasure, never a chore. And I hope the dog has a lovely walk with you. I'm off for a little bit. It's been fun listening. Hey, no worries. Always a pleasure to have you here, Greta. You lovable little imp you. As I just blow dry my heavy sentinels, as you do. Right. Now, I don't know if it's the alcohol that's talking or not. So I might use sex goggles because I've got to do the tips of the missiles. And I might not be that confident, he says. Sex goggles it is. Ah. I do apologise if I made anyone jump. I made myself jump, if that makes you feel any better. That's one. Oh. The other thing I'm just realising is that last week we did also. Not that it's going to focus, of course, but we did also paint the eyes on these little fuckers. Yes, we did paint those eyes. I can see them. I've got to try and find the brush of smallness. Get this out. So, Artificer XS. Eyeballs. That's what I say. And the excess goes back into his little doohickey. random unit marking with this Araman blue on the knee pad. Wow. Right. Oh. Hairbands everywhere. Booba shaker. So you're going with the Abaddon Black now for the rims. I'm always using a flat brush for that. A lot of squeaking going on tonight. I, for some reason, right? So I've already adapted or adjusted, sorry, the focus. Um, Admittedly, I do have to hold them up like that for you to actually see them, because the focus is nearer to than further away, unfortunately. Autofocus does not want to work on this bloody thing. Um, so little Charonite Ogrins. That's sort of like minimal size unit now. It's like with them. Make sure I'm getting the feet. Well, that's another 4 bases. So 2 Ogryn, 2 Heavy Sentinels done. And I think I might actually just call it there because I am tired. We have done good. Another lot of dudes done for the 337th Autumn Dragoons. Oh, good old itch. So yeah, so that I think is that. Nanite Lee, Nanite chat. Thank you very much for coming in, Phil. Appreciate you. But yeah, so we're back to normal this week. So meaning that we'll be back on for Saturday from 8 p.m. and yeah, we'll obviously be painting something else. Whenever I decide what I'm actually going to be painting, it'll be something. But yeah, so thank you very much for coming down and hanging out with us and hearing my story of my adventure at the weekend. But until next time, I hope you have a great rest of the week. Happy end of hump day. I hope everything is better for you from now on. And we will see you on Saturday from 8 p.m. GMT as always. So until then, my friends, have a great rest of the week and see you at the weekend. Peace out, peeps. Laters.